Hi everyone and welcome back. I hope you're all well. What I wanted to talk about in this video is something that I'm really passionate about, and that's business. So I've made a few notes and I may look down from time to time just so I can kind of see where I'm up to. Some of you may know that I am a handmade business owner, I am a small business owner, and I do think it's really important that people who start out in business, and I haven't been in business for very long at all, and I'm excited to kind of document my journey, if you like, on YouTube. But I do think it's important that people who start out in business know business. It might be, as in my case, that you are a crafter. It might be that you are a designer. It might be that you are a carpenter. Whatever your trade might be, you'll need to know about business. You'll need to kind of take the time to learn and understand what business is, because you might, for example, be a writer and you know all about writing. You studied literature at university. But the business of business is a very, very different animal to the business of writing. And I've heard that half of all new businesses fail. I've also heard that it could be as much as 90% of all new businesses fail. And they'll fail for different reasons. But certainly, a lot of the failure of many startups is really to do with the fact that people don't take the time to learn about business. In a previous video, I spoke about workshops that I do, and most of my workshops are business related. I take the time to learn about business because I know nothing about business. I knew nothing about business. I know more now because I've read and I've studied and I've been to lectures, I've been to workshops. I've taken the time to learn the business of business. And that's lifelong, or the life of any business you may have. You will need to continuously learn and relearn and develop your understanding of what it is to be a business owner and what it is to run a business. And I do think that that is really important. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my tech. The other thing is, a good idea. A good idea is great, and you're unlikely to have a good business without a good idea. But that you have a good idea doesn't mean you'll have a good business. The 90% of businesses that fail in reality that I have spoken about, all of them would have been good ideas. The majority of them would have been good ideas, but a good idea doesn't make a good business. A good business is made by a good business person. And you'll all know the stories, historically or otherwise, of someone who had a good idea, but of someone else who turned that idea into a profitable business. So there's one thing having the idea, be it craft, be it writing, be it film. There's quite another to turn that into a business that ultimately makes money and generates a profit. So the starting point has got to be market research. And that not only takes time in the beginning, but it's something that you continue with throughout the life of your business. So as long as you're in business, you will continue your market research. You'll start by finding out about the market. What is the market? Who are the players? What do the customers want? Who are the customers? Is there a gap in the market? Are you able to fill that gap? What is your USP? Now, I'll be honest, I don't really fully understand what USP is. I know what it stands for, unique selling point. But we just have to walk up and down our high streets, don't we, to see several shops selling broadly the same sort of thing. There's Next, there's Debenhams, there's John Lewis, there's Marks and Spencer's. Broadly, all selling the same type of stuff, particularly with the clothes. I know that Marks and Spencer's sells food, etc., but if we just focus on clothes, H&M, Next, Topshop, they are much of a muchness. And sometimes someone says, well, what's the USP? And it's not always that straightforward, but what we do know is that, of course, they all have a share of the market. And so if you are to focus on each one, then you might say, well, one appeals mainly to the 18 to 24, another appeals mainly to the 25 to 30. But then again, there are those who shop in H&M and shop in Topshop and shop. So there are those who shop across these different shopping platforms, if you like. And then I think about something I heard on YouTube in the last few weeks or so, about a girl at a lemonade stand. And it was within the kind of discussion about USPs. Now, the girl who sells lemonade from her lemonade stand has a USP, okay? She's different. And by me buying from her this lemonade for 50p, there's a story. See, I'm not just buying lemonade. I'm not just buying lemonade from a girl. I'm buying a story which I can then tell other people on my way home, on my way into work the next morning, whatever. And it's quite a different buying experience from buying from a vending machine, which doesn't really have any kind of personal element to it. There's no real story behind it. Yet both are selling lemonade, right? And there's nothing particularly stand out about the girl at the lemonade stand. And the wheel isn't being reinvented, but there's a story. And actually, when one thinks then about, well, USP, sorry, I'm looking down at my screen again. Just 1 second. So when one thinks sort of about USP, what it is, I'm coming to the idea that actually the USP can be you. Not just you, because people aren't buying you, but they're buying something that you have made. So I'm not going to speak about this at length, simply to say that the USP can be you. You are what makes your product stand out. By buying from you, the buyer is almost buying into you. They're buying almost a piece of you, a piece of your story. In my case, barrister turned designer. Lemonade stand, young girl, selling lemonade. She was so cute, whatever it might be. So that's something to think about, because I mean, most markets are really quite saturated. That's not to say there aren't gaps in the market. Of course there are. But sometimes, you know, it can just be that the consumer feels disconnected from their goods because the goods are made abroad, they're made cheaply, and actually being able to buy directly from the maker, being able to buy directly from the designer, enhances the buying experience. So that's something to think about. Added to your USP will be branding. So you'll think about, what brand do I have? What do I want my brand to be, who is my target market? Who are my target customers? What do they look like? What do they want? It's important to remember that, of course, not everyone is going to be your customer, and that is absolutely fine. Now, I say to myself, if my market is 1% of the global marketplace, I'm quite happy with 1%, because 1% of all the billions of people in the world is quite a lot of people. Okay, so do not try, unless you want specifically to appeal to everyone, don't. Find your niche, whatever that might be, find your customers and stick with that niche, and I'm sure you'll stick with those customers. So whether it's a hobby that you would like to make a bit of money out of, or whether it's what they call a side hustle, you'll need to know business. So that would mean knowing how much does your product cost to make? How much labour has gone into making this product? What materials did I use and how much did those materials cost? Materials will include things like fabric, ink, and beads. For example, if you're making jewellery. Labour is your time. Tempting though it is to kind of make everything really cheap, don't. Okay, just don't. Give yourself a proper hourly rate. If it's going to be something that you make money from, if it's going to be something that you make a living out of, then you really are going to need to pay yourself a fair hourly rate. It is important to price your products properly, because by pricing your products properly, you will be able to pay yourself a wage. You will be able to put money back into the company and stay in business in the long run. It's also really important to keep good records. And bookkeeping is something that keeps a lot of small business owners, and I'm sure some medium-sized business owners, up at night from time to time. It's important to stay on top of your numbers, on top of your records, keep all of your receipts, know how much you're spending, know how much you're bringing in, know how much profit the business is making. Put things in schedules. Excel is a great tool for being able to put all of those numbers into schedules and keep records, and also track the type of growth or otherwise that your business is having. But this is important because a lot of people have good ideas, but they're just not numbers people. They're just not numbers people. And the idea of having to sit down and put numbers into a schedule is the last thing that they would want to do, but is a necessary part of being a business owner. A business owner wears many hats. You are PR, you are marketing, you are answering the phone, you are legal, you are accounts, you are bookkeeping, you wear many hats as a business owner. And that is also, I think, something that many people starting out in business perhaps didn't really reckon with, the idea that they would have to wear quite so many hats. They have a good idea, they think it's a fantastic product, and that's it. But it's not, is it? There's just so much more that goes into it. So what I really wanted to do, and what I'm probably coming to now, is just to encourage you, if you're starting out in business or you've been in business for a year or two and you have a lot on your plate. You have a lot on your plate because you're making products, but quite apart from the making of them, you're selling them as well and you're marketing them and having to juggle so many other things. I just want to encourage you to keep going and to be easy on yourself, to take it slowly, to take the time to find out about business. There are plenty of resources available to you, but don't give up. I'm passionate about business. I'm passionate about being an entrepreneur. I hope you enjoyed that video. Leave a comment in the description box below if you found it helpful. I will be making more videos along this theme in the weeks to come. I hope you found that helpful. I really enjoy being a business owner. It's not easy. Sometimes it's hard, but for the most part, I really am enjoying it. There's nothing else I'd rather be doing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found some of it useful. If you have, then please leave a comment down in the description box below. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.